hello everyone. Greeting from Yangon. And this is a great honor for me to present here my research paper in this online conference. So now I would like to start my presentation. My research topic is examining the election process in Myanmar by comparing the 2015 general elections and 2020 general election. And the reason why I choose this topic is because I would like to highlight the election system and electoral process in Myanmar. And in this presentation, I mainly focus on the comparison between the 2015 and 2020 general election. And this is the outline. And as the introduction, in Myanmar, the first general election was started in 2010 after many decades under the military dictatorship. However, the election process was not totally transparency and free and fair because the Union Election Commission, the UEC, was under the control of the military. And later on, after 5 years, the first democratic election had been founded in 2015 because it could prove with the free and fair election process. And at the time, even though it was recognized as the first democratic election, there were still many challenges and problems. So now, I would like to mention the problem which had been founded in 2015 general election. So the challenges are first, some political candidates had faced with the discrimination to participate in the election. And the second challenge is Union Election Commission, the UEC, were still under the military control and election process was not totally transparency. And then the third challenge is the participation right of youth and women and ethnicity were very limited to participate in the elections. And then the fourth challenge is ethnic minority and displaced person around the border didn't have right to vote due to the national law. So these are the four main challenges which had been founded in 2015 general election. So apart from these challenges, the main problem is there was automatically 25% of reserved seat for the military in the parliament, according to the undemocratic 2008 constitution. So based on the problem from 2015, I would like to analyze whether those challenges of the political candidate will be seen in the 2020 general elections. And I also would like to find out whether the 2020 election is more free and fair or not. So to emphasize my research objective, I have learned election legal framework, electoral system, and election process in Myanmar. So moreover, to do my research paper, as a data collection, I mainly focus on the qualitative research and use primary sources and secondary sources. So as the primary sources, I interviewed 6 participants, 3 participants from the National League's Democracy Party, NLD, and then the 3 participants from the Union Solidarity and Development Party, USDP. These 2 parties are very popular in Myanmar, and also they are the major party in Myanmar as well. And then all interviewee in my research paper are from Shipita township in Yangon, and this township is under the developing area and in the industrial zone with the many diverse people, and there were also many conflicts between the citizen and the politician. That's why I would like to focus on this area to find out the challenges of the political candidate who are living there. And also as the secondary sources, I use the election observer report from the Asian Network for Free Elections and Qatar, and also the election news from Myanmar Times and Irrawaddy. But when I was interviewing them, there was a limitations. When I was interviewing them, the participants didn't feel comfortable to answer all of my questions due to the party policy and restriction. So that's why I use the primary sources in the research result, and I use the secondary data in the discussion part to get my research objective. So in my research result, So in my research result, based on the interview report, as the challenges for the candidate, 2 participants mainly reported that they had a difficult time to register because of the UEC poor management. And then all 6 participants reported that during the campaigning period under the COVID-19 in 2020, they were dissatisfied when they couldn't give enough voter education and election awareness to the citizen, especially who live in a rural and remote area. So at the time, even though they had those kinds of challenges, but they mentioned that 2020 general election was more free and fair election than 2015 because they reported that there was no discrimination in terms of race, ethnic, and religions in their party, and no one has been rejected by the UEC during the process. And moreover, they could freely demonstrated their freedom of expressions and their political perspective through the media platform. And also, the women's and the youth participation were also increased, and they also had an equal opportunity in their party. So for overall, all participants from both NLD and the USDP party reported that they didn't face with any serious difficulty and challenges to participate in the election. So the research result was much positive. But therefore, to get my research objective more specific and more detailed, I also used the secondary sources from website and from news and from the reporter, from election reporter. So in the discussion part to examine the political candidate challenges. So at the time, from the secondary sources, I had founded 3 main challenges for the political candidate from other parties. So the first challenge is similar to the 2015 election. The political candidates from Shan, Kachim, Mon, and Rohingya from Rakhine State still faced with the discrimination to participate in the election due to the undemocratic 2008 constitution and law, and also the national laws. For example, for the first challenge is even if you are a citizen, your parents were not a citizen at the time of your birth, then you cannot participate in the election. And if you or your parents are in the armed group, which is against the government, you cannot participate in the election either. So this is the first challenge. And then the second challenge is the UEC, the Union Election Commission. The UEC had canceled at least 56 townships in Rakhine State and Shan and Kachin State in order to hold the election. They canceled it because those states were unrest and conflict zone. So as a result, many candidates from those states had lost at least 22 constituencies before the election day. So there is a second challenge. And as the third challenge, the candidates' security and life were not safe if they were in the conflict zone, because there was one incident before the election day. It was about the Arakan armed group in Myanmar arrest 3 candidates from the NLD party for demanding to release their Arakan politicians and student protesters. So when we look at these kinds of incidents, it showed that the UEC and the government could not provide fully security provision for the political candidates. So these are the main challenges which are experienced by the candidates from different parties in 2020. So moreover, when I analyzes the free and fair election process in 2020, there were 2 reasons why this election was more free and fair than the 2015. So the first reason is the participations of the citizens were larger due to the awareness and interest in the elections, and the election observer and media were also encouraged to focus on the UEC performance. Therefore, it brought more free and fair election because at the time UEC put more effort to show the election was better than before.
1 minute.
Yes. And then the second positive reason is the advanced voting days and election day were more transparency than before, and even proved that they could manage the election process with the well-implemented health guideline for COVID-19. So, but on the other hand, we cannot still deny that the election, 2020 election was not totally free and fair election, because because of the three reasons. The first is the discriminations of the 1982 citizenship laws, and then the second is that due to the COVID-19, the all political parties could not campaign in public. At the time, the public attention only went to the same major parties and popular party. At the time, the parties had to play in the unlevel field. And another reason is similar to the 2015, displaced person and refugee didn't get the right to participate because of the national law. And then the last reason is the UEC couldn't manage the ethnic ballot paper. So many ethnic minorities had lost their vote. So these are the main reasons. And also, very similar to the 2015 is that 25% of reserved seats for the military in the parliament were still unchanged in 2020. So I can answer that 2020 election cannot be proved that it was more free and fair if compared to the 2015 general election. So as a conclusion, I slipped, yeah. So as a conclusion, I would like to mention that the election process is still undermined. Can you see my slide? Can you see my slide?
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so as a conclusion, I would like to say that the election process is still undermined, and because of the 2008 constitutions and law, and then also as a recommendation, the government need to take more practical action to review the constitution and to reverse the national laws. And also the government should promote more peace process, and also the role of the military and its commander-in-chief have more equitable to compete in the election for the next election. So that is all about my presentation, and thank you very much. I think during the presentation, I think the screen is freeze. I'm sorry for this inconvenience.
No, it's fine actually.
Yeah.
No problem. Thank you so much. Hnin Set Win, right? Hnin. This is how you say your name? Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. In the sense, like it is such a mind-blowing issue actually, because Myanmar's election has always been on the media, always been in the mouth of the activists, human rights activists, always, because you know the reasons why it is, because you see, you said that after many decades, you started kind of democratic sort of elections since 2010. And it's a temporal that when I was reading your article, it was really mind-blowing in the sense, like temporally you have mentioned 2010, 2015, and 2020. You know, like the thing is, the political system that you have been in and under, and even your previous government, like Aung San Suu Kyi, it was, you know, your political system has never been actually democratic. This is the problem, because as you said, constitutionally, 25% of the parliamentary seats are reserved for the military. And no matter what kind of elections you had, democratically fair and free, doesn't matter, because you are already, the military seats are already embedded in the system. You see, when it is. But my question was like, you know, like, I'm not questioning, I'm not asking you a question, but I wonder sometimes, because for citizenship law, for example, you changed your constitution in 1958 and 58 again 85. You changed again and again, because because the government wanted to exclude some certain population from your country from being citizens, you know, like kind of thing. And like you said, if your father was, you know, presumably engaged in armed groups, you cannot participate, you know, because of your father's involvement, you cannot participate in the elections. These are the things, you know, enshrined in constitutions. My question was why, when even your previous head of the government was not why she didn't even move to remove this kind of discriminatory policies. You know, until or unless these components are enshrined in the constitutions, you cannot expect a free and fair election. You cannot do that. Yeah. And there is another problem in Myanmar. What is that? For example, you could talk against the government. It should not be matter. But the government thinks talking against the government is talking against the state. It's two different things, you see. Everyone should have the right to talk against the government. But as a citizen, you cannot talk against the state because a state remains forever. The government does not remain forever. You know, this misunderstanding are being cherished by the government always, because but it goes to the advantage of the government, you know. Yes. But I'm happy that you are still able to talk about it while you are staying in Myanmar.
Yeah.
Which is good. Which is good. Yeah. What I'm going to say I'm going to say, like in your presentation, in your paper, like you talked about a number of definitions. I would say don't say definition. You say you can merge it under your conceptualization. Like, you know, definition is like for example, I'm defining cow. Cow has four legs, two horns, kind of thing. No, not define. Don't define it. So it makes your article lighter. So you conceptualize it. Don't highlight it. You know, conceptualize it, because this is also important for the layman to understand what you were talking about. In fact, no. And I would say, and you can you can make an argument, like, you know, when the political systems are kind of like, I'm not talking what is happening now at the moment. I know you are undergoing very crucial time. It's we have our heart is there with you. But the thing is, when you don't change the political system, you cannot expect the election system will change, because the politicians, the policymakers, they hold, you know, and election commissioners, they cannot do anything on their own. They're not autonomous, because this kind of political system does not give the full autonomy to the election commissioner, you know. So their hands are tied, tightly tied, so they cannot do anything, you know. So this is the thing. So political system is important. That has to be changed. And you are the people who can change. Now, what you are doing, for example, now you're taking the street and revolting against the present government. You know, like, anyway, I'm not going into the politics, but it was a good presentation actually, and it is a good topic, I would say. And let's see if there is any comment, any question from the floor.
Okay, any friends would like to share with Set Win? Yeah, she has done excellent job. Yeah, I'm listening when she explaining. I feel cool. Yeah, what she want to present to for us. Yes. Any questions?
Thank you very much.